following a straight path through space. This deviation causes an apparent shift in the position of the stars, as seen from Earth. It was this shift that the expedition sought to measure, in spite of its tiny size. As Eddington put it, the purpose of the expedition was to weigh light. He and Dyson hoped to discover if light has mass and is therefore affected by the force of gravity. Most physicists of the day thought that light, as a wave phenomenon, was massless and not subject to gravity's pull. Today, we have no doubts that Einstein was right. Yet, looking back, today's scientists and historians are often very critical of Eddington and Dyson's work. Astronomers and physicists of the last few decades who have tried to improve on the measurements made by the English team of 1919 have found the experiment very difficult, even with more modern equipment. Members of an expedition from the University of Texas, who also went to Africa during an eclipse in 1973, expressed doubts that Eddington and Dyson could have achieved the accuracy they claimed with the instruments available in 1919. Then, historians and philosophers of science weighed in, claiming that Eddington was biased in favor of Einstein's theory and questioning certain decisions taken during the difficult data analysis process. Thus, measurements conducted a century ago are still causing controversy today. Faced with such controversy, it is important to look closely to see what really happened. This means looking at all the people involved, beginning with Dyson and Eddington, who are introduced in Chapter 1. It means paying attention to their institutions, their observatories, their learned societies, and their committees, the places where they did their work, and the instruments they used. It means studying the people who made those instruments, as well as the assistants, computers, and others who aided the famous astronomers whose names are well remembered. Of course, we must pay attention to the theoretical background, to Einstein and his prediction, and to the turbulent state of the scientists' contemporary war-torn world in 1919. Not all scientists were favorably disposed to Einstein's ideas, and their views are discussed in Chapter 6. Only then can we follow the protagonists on their journey, and through the eclipse itself, to the difficult data analysis that followed, and the enthusiastic worldwide reception of their results. Of course, the story does not end there, and we will discuss the work of astronomers at subsequent eclipses, which confirmed the results of 1919. Remarkably, even Dyson, the main organizer of the expeditions, has been unfairly overlooked in some recent histories. By focusing on the expertise of Dyson and his assistants, we will learn something of the key techniques and methods used in 1919 and appreciate more fully the experimental art that went into the science of the day. How this experimental art evolves over time is discussed in the book's final chapters 14 and 15. The story that results from such careful study is not only more detailed, but richer, more exciting, and more interesting than the story of the great scientists told as if they acted alone. The historian of science, Stephen Shapin, famously showed how the chemist Robert Boyle's research depended on many technicians and assistants who, though unnamed and almost invisible, made important contributions to his work. Most of the people involved in 1919 were applauded in their day, but the passage of time has caused us to lose sight of their crucial roles. This book aims to correct this oversight, which could cripple serious attempts to understand how the science of the eclipse was accomplished. Only with this complete history can we reach firm conclusions about the reliability of this famous experiment. And a famous experiment it was. May 29, 1919, was indeed the date of probably the most important eclipse in history. Eclipses have been credited with ending wars and with preserving the rule of colonizing explorers like Christopher Columbus. Yet, for all the wonder and admiration they excite, the observation of this one eclipse by a few astronomers from Britain and Ireland has outdone them all. Their work may well have been the most important scientific experiment of the entire 20th century. What they achieved is responsible for the worldwide fame of Albert Einstein. They established his theory of general relativity as the most celebrated theory in physics. They deposed